actually pay attention to someone's behaviour, observe their behaviours, we can begin to understand who they are as a person. And when it comes to narcissistic individuals, there are several behaviours that they display where they are telling on themselves. They're telling you who they are as a person. And one of the first of these is that constant bragging and boasting about places they've been, people they know, things they've achieved. And you can be stood with them and they can be stood with a stranger and you can think, you've never been there, you don't know that person. You walked past them when you were shopping once, you don't actually know them. And they can also play the woe is me, hard done to victim, and everything is everybody else's fault and never their own. They've suffered more than anyone else. And they are telling on themselves, as this displays that they are seeking that excessive validation, admiration and attention. A narcissistic individual will happily ignore another person's pain. They'll downplay it. They'll accuse people of overreacting. They'll accuse people of seeking attention. It's okay for them to seek attention. It's not okay for other people to seek attention. They can stand there and say, oh good, now they know how it feels. Or they can talk about how they've suffered far worse. Not a conversation to show that they can relate with the other person, but to take over the conversation, to talk over others, to interrupt others. And they're telling on themselves because this displays their lack of empathy towards others. They don't expect to have to wait. They don't expect to have to queue. They don't expect to have to pre-book anything. They just claim that they were unaware. They didn't know. They'll happily push in. They'll happily be rude to others if they're not getting their own way, if they're not getting their needs met. And again, they play the victim, or they'll do that don't you know who I am. When it comes to narcissistic individuals, this behaviour displays their sense of entitlement. They can react extremely defensively when confronted with their betrayals towards you or towards others, with their mistakes that they don't want to recognise and they don't want to learn from. They can react aggressively to any form of feedback, even if you're trying to give them constructive feedback. Any feedback is seen as criticism by a narcissist, as they need to be perceived as perfect. It shows the belief that they are special and they don't do anything wrong and they're entitled to do as they please, and it doesn't matter how it affects anybody else. They will only be there for you when they need or they want something from you, and it's very confusing because when they are there for you, they can be over the top in being helpful and supportive and messaging and spending time with you and showering you with gifts and flattery and insincere praise. And this displays their exploitative nature because more often than not, when you need them the most, they've disappeared on you. And they often have that road rage, that aggression, where they're looking to belittle other people, they're looking to intimidate and scare other people, they're looking to push the boundaries. They lack the empathy for other people's welfare. They just feel entitled to be in charge and they want to be seen and heard at all costs to others.